In other major news, a combustible situation in the Middle East continues, with a breakout of war between Israel and Iran. Late last week, Israel launched a massive wave of attacks across Iran, bombing nuclear and missile sites and targeting and killing several top military leaders and nuclear scientists. Israel claims it had intelligence Iran was racing to complete a nuclear bomb. Within hours, Iran had launched a counteroffensive of missiles into Israel. Now, a week into the war, destruction and casualties have mounted on both sides. While Israel has continued to target Iranian nuclear sites, scores of civilian buildings have also been hit in both Iran and Israel, including apartment blocks and a major hospital in Israel. Now there is pressure for the U.S. to make a decisive military move to assist the Israeli war effort, because only the U.S. has so-called bunker-busting bombs able to penetrate Iranian nuclear facilities buried deep in a mountain. The Trump administration's decision whether or not to escalate the war is fraught because the risks are so high. A leading nuclear security expert says attacking Iran is like, quote, rolling the nuclear dice and could lead to a catastrophe that military and intelligence officials have been warning about for years, such as
closing the Straits of Hormuz, shutting off, therefore, about a quarter of the world's oil supply. That will sink stock markets around the world, could throw us into a global recession. U.S. bases in the area are going to be attacked. Quds Force could start attacking U.S. and Israeli interests outside the region. These people know what they're doing. They can blow up restaurants, blow up symbols of U.S. power. Then at the top of that list of unknowns is that Iran could announce that it has a nuclear weapon and that it has smuggled it into a port of a European ally or of the United States itself and threatened to detonate it unless the U.S. stops its attacks.
On Thursday, the White House announced the president will decide in 2 weeks whether the U.S. will pull the U.S. military into a bombing campaign against Iran. The delay is based on the president's belief negotiations might still work. But in the end, Trump says Iran, quote, just can't have a nuclear weapon. European diplomats are meeting with Iran's foreign minister in Geneva this weekend in hopes of finding a diplomatic solution to the crisis. For analysis of the tensions between Israel and Iran, we are joined by Farhad Rezaei. He is a native Iranian, a Christian convert, and former director of Christian Watch on Global Islamism at the Philos Project. He has written extensively about Iran's nuclear program. Thank you for being with us. The threat of war is scary for people on both sides, in both Israel and Iran. Give our viewers some context about Iran, which they may be less familiar with. This week, President Trump posted on Truth Social a stark warning to the people of Tehran, urging residents to immediately evacuate and flee. Tehran has a population of 10 million people. That's bigger than New York City. How did everyday Iranians react to that message from the American president?
Thank you for having me, Catherine. Well, everyday Iranians reacted with alarm. Many of them fled in traffic jams, but there were also people who, there were kind of defiance on the part of some other people. The Iranian regime also had a response. They dismissed Trump's evacuation call. They called it a psychological warfare from the United States, from the president of the United States. And they tried to, they urged the citizens of Tehran to remain calm. But as far as we know, the regime's modus operandi, they have two kind of goals when they call on Iranian citizens, especially the citizens of Tehran, to remain calm and not to evacuate. First, they want to use people as human shields. This is actually the tactic that they taught their terror proxies. They taught Hezbollah and Hamas to practice. So that's the first goal. The second goal was to basically to dissuade the Israeli Air Force, to dissuade them from targeting the regime bases in Tehran. So that was the reaction from the part of the regime.
Farhad, Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been in power for more than 35 years. He is the longest serving head of state in the Middle East. The Islamic leader has said Iran has no problem with Jews and Christians, but objects to the country of Israel itself and what he calls Zionist usurpers of Palestine. Iran has supported Hamas, Hezbollah, and other terrorist proxies. Israel claims its attack on Iran are designed to eliminate Iran's ability to launch a nuclear assault on Israel. But given the Ayatollah's hardcore beliefs about Israel, how much does regime change or overthrowing the Ayatollah play into Israel's strategy?
Well, let me tell you first something about the Ayatollah's statement that they have no problem with Jews and Christians. Ask the Iranian Jewish community that how the regime treats them. Ask the Christian community in Iran, and also the Christians in the other part of the Middle East, in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen, and Lebanon, that how the regime proxies treated them. As a matter of fact, the Islamic regime in Iran, the IRGC and their terror proxies contributed a great deal of plight to the plight of Christians in the region. So I don't really, care about what Ayatollah says, but care more about what Ayatollah does about Jewish people and the Christian communities, both in Iran and also in the region. Israel has two objectives right now. One is dismantling Iran's nuclear program. This is the first stated goal. And the second goal is to destroy or degrade Iran's missile capabilities. I have never seen any of the Israeli statesmen, any of the Israeli politicians to say that regime change in Iran is the official policy of the state of Israel. This could be the consequence of the current bombing campaign, but it is not an official policy. So my understanding is that if the Israeli Air Force could destroy Iran's nuclear program entirely, and that's including a Fordo site, and also destroy the regime's missile capabilities, I believe that the Israelis would announce those goals are achieved. But then there's one more important issue, and that is Israel now is targeting the bases of the regime that are involved in suppressing Iranian people and Iranian protesters. So if Israel successfully destroy those bases, this will enable Iranian people to come to the street and try to overthrow the regime later. But for now, this is not the stated goal of the state of Israel.
Farhad, we thank you for your expertise on this ongoing story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine.